Fantastic. Now, this follows on from your really successful previous book, Only Mostly Devastated. And
Yes.
I guess the first question I had was both of them are set in American high schools. So why did you choose to set them there instead of in Australia?
Hmm. Um, I guess there's probably a few reasons. The simple answer would be that a lot of our books and media do come from America. So even though I've read so many, amazing Australian books set in Australia and TV shows and movies, in a lot of ways, because me and I think probably a lot of us are in Australia so used to seeing American stories, there is this aspect of it coming fairly naturally to write a story set in this place that you've seen so much about. The other thing is that for me, I have always really wanted to be able to get as much of an audience as I could, which at the time meant, getting an American agent and an American publisher, although my agent is actually London based now, go figure. And I noticed a lot of my friends who were writing books set in Australia were having a little bit of trouble selling those books to American publishers. I guess they're seen as a little bit more niche sometimes. So I thought, at least while I'm starting out, while I'm building an audience over in America, publishing in America, I'm going to try my hand at setting some books over there. Luckily, I've had a lot of help from my friends in the writing community, a lot of whom are based in America, and they're able to help me out with the odd word or phrase that you have no idea they don't say over there. And you're like, oh, I did not know that was specific to us. And that's been very helpful.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's so true that, it is a very familiar world in
Mm.
there. And I noticed Perfect on Paper, you've got Brougham. Is it Brougham? That's how I was
Yes,
saying in my head.
that's perfect. I think
Excellent.
Australians find it easier than Americans.
Yes. And I mean, he's Australian, but he's living
Yes.
over there. So I could see that connection as well. And did you
Yeah.
end up going to America to do any, research trips? Is this also another great way to travel? I mean, pre-COVID, of course.
Pre-COVID, yes. I went over there in 2019, spent quite a lot of time in California because I knew that I wanted to set my next book, Perfect on Paper, in California. So, being able to get on the ground and see things for yourself and hear people talk, hear stories, made a set aside a day to hit up Disneyland and see see what there was there, which that was great fun to write that. And I guess that's the other thing. Because I do choose to set my books in America, I've never really had that like wonderful experience of writing somewhere that you've been and being able to really get in there and introduce like the smells and the sights and the things that you wouldn't get off like a blog post if you were researching it. So that was really great fun. But definitely adding in Brougham was like me going, look, I'm writing American characters, but I miss Australia. I want to talk about Australia. I am Australian. This is how I'm going to get that in there. This is how I'm going to share some of myself and my country with you guys over, well, not you, but the American readers and my American publisher.
Yes, I really liked that section where they were talking about America and Australian music and just that lack of awareness. Because I've noticed, even I think recently I looked at the New York Times Public Library's like top 120 YA novels, and I did notice that I think I counted two non-American titles. One was The Book Thief, and the other
Yeah.
I think was a Codename Verity. So both sort of set during the Second World War. And I thought that's really
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't notice any contemporary titles that were not American. So it's certainly a
Right.
tough market to get into, I think.
It is. It's a tough market. And I don't think it's something that people necessarily want to talk about, but I think I'm a little bit more like factual, realistic, like not beating around the bush. I would love for it to change. Don't get me wrong. And hopefully maybe when I have a little bit more freedom to write things that might be seen as more niche, whereas now I probably don't have that freedom. Maybe in the future I can start introducing some stories set in Australia, which would, that would be lovely. I think that, one of the things about being Australian is that you consume so much media from so many different countries. It's very, very normal to us. We will watch a British TV show and then go watch an American movie and finish it off with an Australian documentary or news channel, and we've just, we're taking it all in. But I don't think that that's necessarily the same over in America from how my friends describe it, which, I think in some ways it's very nice to be able to like receive information and hear things about other cultures.